Think about a time when the world's banking system stops working. You try to send money when you wake up, but it doesn't go through. Apps for banks start to freeze. A lot of news stories start coming in. SWIFT, the world network that handles payments between countries, is no longer available, not just in one place, but all over the world. It was taken down by a huge, well-planned cyber attack. Banks can't talk to each other. Payments can't be made. FX markets close down. Governments call for crises. World leaders are scrambling to find a way out of this mess. The normal processes don't work right. We don't have time to rebuild SWIFT or start from scratch with a new system. Still, there is one choice left. Ripple, a system that is already live, has been tested, and is already fast. This isn't a science fiction story. It's a reasonable backup plan that's being talked about in the halls of global banking. In today's digitally connected world, worries about the weak spots in our old financial systems are growing. Even though SWIFT is very important, it is not perfect. People have already broken in, there have been partial outages, and there have been delays. Experts have said that a single flaw in the system could cause a liquidity problem that is unlike any other we've seen. While this was going on, governments and central banks would have no choice but to look for a digital option. That's where XRP and RippleNet come in. Ripple has been growing for more than 10 years. This isn't a joke project. It's not just a fake coin that has no use. It was made for this very purpose, making fast, cheap, and secure real-time payments around the world. This is because XRP is the native asset of the XRP ledger. It can quickly and cheaply connect different currencies. Bitcoin was made as a replacement to fiat money, but XRP is meant to work with the current system and make it better. When SWIFT goes down, XRP not only becomes a choice, it's the only one that can work on a large scale. Let's talk about what this means for the price of things. Every day, the world's foreign exchange market deals with anywhere from $6 to $10 trillion. That is a huge amount of money going from one currency to another across borders. All that noise needs a place to go when SWIFT fails. XRP's liquidity needs to grow a lot so that payments can happen through RippleNet with XRP as the bridge. There is a limited amount of XRP available. XRP in order to allow daily trades worth trillions of dollars. Let's do some simple math. If even 1% of the daily FX market, or $100 billion, starts to move through XRP, but only some of the XRP supply is liquid and ready to go, the value of each token will have to go up to accommodate that volume. Remember that in liquidity theory, the price of an object should match the amount of trade it can handle. Prices go through the roof when there is a lot of demand and not enough supply. Every day, the world's foreign exchange market deals with anywhere from $6 to $10 trillion. That is a huge amount of money going from one currency to another across borders. All that noise needs a place to go when SWIFT fails. XRP's liquidity needs to grow a lot so that payments can happen through RippleNet with XRP as the bridge. There is a limited amount of XRP available. Not all XRP can be spent. Not all XRP can be easily traded or used by businesses. That means the price of one XRP would have to change a lot in order to allow daily trades worth trillions of dollars. Let's do some simple math. If even 1% of the daily FX market, or $100 billion, starts to move through XRP, but only some of the XRP supply is liquid and ready to go, the value of each token will have to go up to accommodate that volume. Remember that in liquidity theory, the price of an object should match the amount of trade it can handle. Prices go through the roof when there is a lot of demand and not enough supply. Let's make that bigger. 10 to 20% of all foreign exchange moves would be preferred to XRP. That's trillions of dollars worth of transactions every day. It's now not only possible to have $10 or even $1,000 worth of XRP, it's necessary. In the worst emergency situations, where XRP becomes the standard way to settle transactions around the world, the price of a token could go over $100,000. You could say, but that doesn't make sense. But is it? When markets changed a lot, like when the gold standard ended or during the 2008 financial crisis, assets that didn't seem important at the time became very important. When the system is reset, the first object that has been shown to work becomes the fallback. Dozens of banks, mostly in Asia and the Middle East, are already testing XRP in small ways. Countries like Japan, the UAE, Singapore, and EVE And the UK have clear rules about Ripple. It also has a ledger that can settle in seconds, on-demand funding, and the infrastructure of a Ripple net. Everything is already live. Inertia is the only thing stopping mass adoption, and a disaster breaks inertia right away. Take a look at the most recent red flags. In the last few years, there have been a lot of cyber attacks on banks. A DDoS attack took down the New Zealand Stock Exchange for days in 2021. There were hacks on central banks in 2022. Interpol warned in 2023 that online threats to banks are changing faster than their defenses can keep up. SWIFT has sent internal notices to member banks telling them to improve security and keep technology up to date. But even with these safety measures, no system is perfect and can't be broken into. In fact, governments now plan for swift failure as a possible outcome of national emergencies. Now, let's talk about what makes Ripple special in this situation. XRP closes in 3 to 5 seconds, while Bitcoin and Ethereum are decentralized, but transaction times are long and costs a lot. Today, it can handle 1,500 deals per second. And that doesn't count upgrades for growth. It leaves almost no carbon behind, and its fees are almost nothing. It was made to be useful, not just for opinion. More importantly, Ripple has been talking with banking regulators and central banks all the time. They're not working from the outside. Instead, they're building from the inside. Trust and access will be very important when there is a problem. Some people have said that XRP is the coin for bankers. When people were against banks and crypto purism, that might have sounded like an insult, but now that the banking system needs saving, XRP is the perfect way to save it. Decentralized chaos is not what central banks want. They want funding that is scalable, compliant, and programmable. XRP is that. In real life, what would a switch to XRP look like? Think about what would happen if the Bank of Japan or the ECB needed to settle payments with each other, but a quick link between the Japanese yen and the euro is made possible by XRP. Payments are being made again, and there is no longer a problem. Things start to work together as more banks join. XRP's value goes up in a way that is not straight, but exponential, since each new member makes the system more useful overall. Allow us to now talk about the other side's points. Some people will say that authorities would never let XRP take over, but you already know that Ripple has been fighting regulatory fights and mostly winning them. The SEC's lawsuit against Ripple finished with big wins for XRP, such as the fact that it was recognized that XRP is not a security in and of itself. The legal base is being built. Some say banks will create their own digital currencies, but central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, will still need a bond to connect them. This is already something that XRP is being tried for. Interoperability is very important, and XRP already has it. Oh, of course, nothing is certain. There are risks with XRP. Adoption could be slowed down by stricter rules in some countries. Bugs in the technology could show up, and new blockchain rivals could appear. But XRP is way ahead of the rest when it comes to being ready, infrastructure compliance, and relationships. Let's talk quickly about what you can do as a person. If you think there could be a big system failure, it makes sense to get ready for a digital alternative. If this happens, owning a small amount of XRP, not as gambling, but as part of a larger plan to reduce risk, could pay off hugely. You only need to know the direction. You don't have to go all in. The path is clear as the world goes digital and banks look for faster ways to settle their debts. In the end, a quick network breakdown is not just a fantasy. It's something that governments are constantly getting re-80 for. XRP and RippleNet are not a bunch of air. Those are tools made for that kind of time. And when that time comes, the need for XRP will grow in ways that most people can't even imagine now. This isn't just today, $100,000 per token might sound like a lot of money, but in a world where digital connections are scarce after SWIFT, it might be required, and the chance may be gone by the time the rest of the world figures it out. Find out more, ask questions, keep up with what's going on, and pay attention to what the banks do as well as what they say. Remember that when SWIFT fails, XRP is not only more valuable, it's necessary. Thanks for seeing. Nota bene. Do keep in mind that I am not a professional financial advisor. The information in these movies is only meant to be entertaining. Before making any financial decisions, I always tell my viewers to do their own study and talk to professionals. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you want to be the first to know when I post new videos, make sure you also turn on the alerts. Enjoy your time with your family and friends until we see you again in the next movie.